Very warm welcome to this August gathering on the occasion of the webinar organized by the Alumni Association under the aegis of IQAC of ARSD College. The college has a registered alumni association which wishes to involve its alumni in a meaningful manner for the benefit of the students and the institutions. Alumni Association of ARSD College is working to bring together the alumni community on a common platform to build another channel of personal and professional support to members through self-help within the community. Our college alumni is spread all over the world and has been doing brilliant in their respective fields. Apart from serving as a base for information about the alumni, it initiates programs and organizes events important to the alumni and their alma mater. And this program is in continuation with this particular trend. To begin with the event, I would like to welcome Dr. V.K. Arora, who has been the alumnus of the college, who has served the college as a faculty member for good over 40 years, and is also the treasurer of the Alumni Association of the college. Sir, we welcome you and we would like you to please share your words of wisdom with the gathering. Thank you,
sir. Good morning, everyone. Though our college has existed for almost I'll say more than 50 years. But over the years, somehow we couldn't have an alumni association with well-connected alumni among themselves. Over the last several years, particularly 7-8 years, the college has achieved a lot and has been recognized for its achievements at national level. It's not only good rating or grades being given by NAC, which incidentally happens to be A grade. The college has been consistently being among the first 15 in NIRF rankings, right from inception of NIRF. Well, again, I don't need to repeat it, which is conducted by Ministry of Education, Government of India. But also the rankings conducted by private publications or institutions like India Today. These good rankings, I think, should motivate our alumni who might have graduated from the college long time back, when incidentally a college didn't enjoy a very good reputation for public perception. So Mr. Mangeshwaran is smiling. So that might have made our alumni somewhat reluctant to publicly proclaim that they are a product of Atmaram Sanathanam College. But I guess over the last 7-8 years particularly, because we are being recognized through these rankings and ratings or gradings nationally, and obviously if we are being recognized nationally, it would have implications for global recognition too. I think it should somehow motivate and provide some kind of encouragement to our older alumni to associate themselves with the institution. If our alumni connect among themselves effectively, there is no doubt that our alumni are doing well in whatever respective professions they might have gone into. But we don't have the data, particularly, for example, I was a student in the college from 1972 to 75. I tried my best to find out whatever few names I could recall from my batch or the previous batch or the subsequent years, but somehow I couldn't identify and I couldn't connect with even one student who might have passed out of the college in either BCom honors or BCom. Unfortunately, at that time, we didn't have mobiles, we didn't have emails. And even if landlines were there, if students didn't remain in touch with each other, we would lose those fixed landline numbers too. Those fixed line numbers, of course, would have changed over a period of time. But now with the uh, growth of social media and technology being available to us, if we continue in whatever little way we are able to link with our alumni through our alumni association, I guess it might provide incentive to older students too to come forward and join the alumni association. Of course, for a pretty long period of time, the college did the hand holding for this alumni association. For so many years now, the college had been organizing itself the alumni meet. Of course, in 1917 and 2017-18, we have our alumni association registered now. We have the office bearers and quite a few life members too. We need to expand it further. And of course, the purpose of expanding it further is to provide a sense of pride to our alumni, at least now, that yes, they were alumnus of or alumni of ARSD College. Maybe 30 years back or 40 years back, that reluctance was there to proclaim and advertise and publicize that I am from ARSD College. If people did their graduation from our college and did post-graduation elsewhere, most probably they would be professing their status as alumni of those institutes where from they did their post-graduation. Well, we need to change it. We need alumni association to flourish and give something back to the institution and its students. This is today's lecture. It's an attempt, in fact, to rope in our alumni in giving back to the college and the institution through whatever expertise they have gained in their respective fields. I do hope this effort will continue and expand further. I'll not take much time. That's all I had to say. Manika, back to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir. It's always an enriching experience to listen from you. Next, I would like to welcome Mr. J.S. Arya. This Alumni Association happens to be his brainchild, his initiator, and he is also the president of the Alumni Association. Sir is a retired civil servant as well. So may I please welcome sir to address the gathering. Ajit, is sir there?
He is not able to join due to some technical problem. So you can move on to next.
Sure, sure. John F. Kennedy rightly said that the success of any institution can be measured by the contribution the alumni makes to our national life. To articulate the importance of alumni, Principal Sir has constantly been endeavoring to make sure that alumni, when they are the students of the college, they have a perfect stay in the college. And as they pass out, we give them a chance to be proud of the college, and we can encourage them to be a party to the college in its entire growth phenomena. With these words, I would like to welcome Principal Sir for his support, for his constant guidance to every endeavor which is there in the college for the benefit of the students and all its stakeholders. Principal Sir, good to you.
Thank you, Manika. Good morning to all. Sri S. Mangeshwaran, our distinguished alumnus of the college, Dr. V.K. Arora, our former colleague and treasurer, Alumni Association, Dr. Ajit Kumar, convener, Alumni Committee, and Dr. Monica Jain, coordinator of this program. I welcome Mangeshwaran ji in this webinar, and I'm grateful that he has given his valuable time to deliver his lecture on Union Budget 2022. And as Arora Saab has told many things about the Alumni Association and the association with the College of Alumni and what kind of expertise our alumni have. And they have to now more associated with the college and why it should be in more meaningful manner. So I'm grateful to him that he is here to deliver this lecture. I'm always of this opinion that there should be a strong alumni network of the college, because alumni can create image also of the college. So your participation is very required for the development of the college. So I don't know that how we will mobilize these things and channelize all the forces in the alumni association in one platform. So, but we will try, and we are trying our best. It was not registered alumni association in the college. We have registered, we have organized so many alumni meets also. We are frequently organizing meetings also. But we have to do some more for the current students, for the development of institution, for the benefit of institution, for the progress of the institution. So my best wishes to organizers, alumni committee and IQAC is in joint collaboration. They are organizing this. So all the best. My best wishes to all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. I would now like to take this opportunity to...
Yes.
Okay. I would now like to take this opportunity to introduce our esteemed speaker to the gathering, Mr. S. Mangeshwaran, an economics graduate from the college. Mr. Mangeshwaran did his MA Economics from Jamia Millia Islamia in the year 1991. He did his PG PBM in MBA from Ford School of Management in 94, and he also has a PG certificate in project management from University of Wales, UK. Presently, Mr. Mangeshwaran is the Deputy Director, Admissions and Educational Advisor in Robert Kennedy College, Zurich, Switzerland. He is also the Program Chair for Consumer Behavior and Marketing Management at MAII Western International University, Delhi chapter, and a visiting faculty MAII Stanford, Virginia, USA, New Delhi campus for Economics, Marketing and Management. We welcome you, sir. Sir is here to deliberate on the topic Union Budget 2022, A Citizen's Perspective. The dais is all yours, sir.
Thank you very much, ma'am. It's really an honor to be here and talking about the budget. And before we started this, I was just telling, or rather sharing a view with Ajit here that going back 33 years, I was actually doing the same thing as the president of the Economic Association for the college, and talking about the budget of 8990. So as a nostalgic thing, I went back to the budget and was just trying to see what were we talking about then and what are we talking about now. And I found, yes, things are more or less the same. So that's how the whole thing came out to be. What I'll do is maybe I'll share my screen now so that you can, it's a presentation. I can go through the whole thing, and then maybe I can take some questions also. So if that suits everybody.
Yes, sir, that should be perfect.
I can do that, yeah. Okay. Can you see the screen now?
Not yet, sir.
Not yet. Okay, fine. Okay, sorry. I need to actually give a preference to that. Just give me 1 second.
अमित जी क्या वो स्क्रीन शेयर कर सकते हैं ना ये स्पीकर?
Yes, sir. Sir can share easily, sir. There is
Yeah.
an option, sir, share screen.
No, that is there, but I need to allow my computer to allow, no, do that, no.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll have to. The system preferences should allow that, so that was the problem. So. Just give me 1 second. I think I need to just ensure that this thing works.
You can start and no.
Yeah, that's what I
Later
was-
on you can share it, no problem.
Yeah, maybe we can.
But you start.
It will make it a bit more easier, I presume. Yeah. Right. Okay, can you, okay, let me maybe start like this. I'll share the thing later on, maybe that will help you out. So that could be one way to do it. When you're talking about the offer for me to talk about the union budget, I had two options. One is I talk completely about the numbers and the figures that we normally associate with the budget. And the second option I had was to talk about just give a brief about what this thing is all about and not talk about the figures that we normally associate the budget with. So the option was, yes, I think between making it a boring discussion about numbers or talking about the nuances of what the budget is all about. So I thought I chose the later, and I thought I'll just talk about some of the things that we have been talking about in the budget and how that makes relevance to all of us. That's why I said we'll have the citizens' perspective rather than having a larger perspective the way we are talking about. Okay. So talking about the budget, I think if I have to look at the budget, what I can say, it's basically an annual exercise that the government of India addresses. And basically what it's trying to do is talking about the incomes that the government earns, the expenditures the government does. It takes stock of whatever activities have happened in the previous years and tries to focus upon the governmental activities which will happen in the next 1 year. And what we would actually say is that, yes, the budget is actually a unique policy statement with a definitive expiry date. I mean, it starts and ends. That's how the thing is. It starts on the 1st of April of every year, and on the 31st of March, it sort of ends. That's the normal expiry or the lifetime of a budget as such. But what we also need to look at is that besides whatever the legislative business that we see in terms of the budget session and parliamentary sessions and everything, the union budget is not actually a unique document that comes as a single document that the finance minister presents. It's a comprehensive exercise which basically starts 1 day prior to the presentation of the budget with the economic survey. After the economic survey, the next thing is, of course, the presentation of the union budget. This is followed by the RBI talking about the monetary policy guidelines, which they will be implementing over the next 1 year. And I would say, end somewhere toward the first week of April, when the final fiscal deficit figures are released by the government of India for the previous year. Now, when I talk about this, I'm not getting into the legislative part of business where the budget is discussed in the parliament and passed by the parliament and all those things. These are all legislative part. But the union budget, as I said, we'll be talking about the economic survey, the budget itself, the monetary policy, and the fiscal policy, or the fiscal deficit, as you may call it, over the next 1 year. That's how the thing is. Coming to the point of how do you define the budget? I mean, is it a good budget or a bad budget? If I had to look at it from an individual's perspective, basically what it is trying to do is the budget is basically amplifying the focus of the government. And generally, I would say that everybody actually benefits from the budget. Some have direct benefits, some have indirect benefits. Some would align their activities in line with whatever the budget is talking about. There could be others who would, streamline their activities to suit the budget. There will be some people who would be adversely affected by the budget. I cannot deny that. But usually what would happen is they would get compensated elsewhere. So in all, if you look at the budget, it's never a good or a bad budget. Everybody would say that, yes, it's a budget that helps you in one way or the other. If I had to look at the benefits and losses, basically these are the institutionals or the sectoral losses and gains that we talk about. Some industries may gain, some industries may lose, some sectors may benefit, some sectors may lose the benefits of the budget. But other than that, on an individual level, no budget would tend to be good. That's how I would say. Coming to this year's budget specifically, again, not talking about the numbers here. As I said, I don't want to talk about 5,000 crores and 2,000 crores and all those things. One of the most important features of this budget, the way I would look at it, was the fact that in a year, or not even a year, it's a period where the elections are going on, the elections are due, some very important elections. It's an absolutely non-populist budget, which is the biggest, I would say, the plus point of this budget. It has not bothered about giving benefits or trying to look at the electoral politics and given a very good budget in terms of being to the point and to the core and addressing the issues correctly. There's a focus on a more digitized economy that we are talking about. Whatever we looked at the budget, there was a stress on digitization everywhere. We have a huge increase in the capital expenditure spendings, which means that over the next, say, 5 years or 10 years, a lot of things would sort of improve or change. We are talking about infrastructural development, which, of course, things like we are talking about a lot of new things that have been brought in terms of Gati Shakti as a thing, or steel and cement industry getting a lot of benefits, both direct and indirect benefits. Then national highway networks increasing and everything. These are all infrastructures that we all look forward, we sort of make a nation. And that is what it is basically doing. We also have had a lot of emphasis on the energy efficiency part of it, which is again a very important factor. We need to move from an economy which is spending more to earn more to spending less and earning more. That is where we are, I think, reaching towards, which is a very good thing. And then, yes, of course, there's a push for digital education. We know that, what we are doing right now is also somewhere, a part of this digital education only, but that's something what we are doing. And one big thing that we did with this budget was we actually have tried to reinvent the post office. If we all look at our past, in the last so many years, you would have seen post office was a very important link in all our activities. And in the last, say, 5-10 years, it had lost its position. By trying to reinvent the post office as a retail network or retail hub, maybe in terms of banking, I think what it's going to do is it is going to harness the financial sector in a big way and make banking available to the most remotest parts of the country. We know that India has post offices in some of the highest points of earth. or some of the most inaccessible places in the country. So if we can use the post office for that purpose, I think that's a very, very good initiative. And yes, we are talking about a focus on health and mainly on mental health, which I know, especially after the pandemic, a lot of things have changed, a lot of things are changing, which would be a very interesting aspect of the next, say, about 5 to 10 years. So we are looking at that aspect also. And one more thing that yes, where we have done some effort towards improvement this time is talking about the agricultural sector. Especially we are looking at the fisheries and livestock outlays have increased, which is again going away from agriculture in terms of only cultivation to all the other ancillaries that we have for agriculture, which is again, it's a very, very good thing that we have done. Coming to the issue of why do we require a citizen perspective, if I look at this, if I can ask people here, I'm sure most of you would say that budget is basically a government exercise which focuses on taxes and businesses alone, and we don't have anything to do with it directly, which is sometimes the fact also that yes, budget talks about giving incentives to the government, to the companies or corporates and everything, and only the corporates are actually looking at what's happening in the budget. But individually, at a citizen level, we are somehow not so much worried about the budget part of it. And of course, the budget, the interest on the budget has waned in the last years. In fact, if you ask yourself and if you look around, there will be very few people, even in this gathering, I can vouch for that. Very few people would actually be would have tuned on to the TV or the news networks to see how is the budget turning out to be as it is unfolding. I don't know how many of you actually had the time to sit and listen to the speech of the finance minister. What we all thought is, okay, fine, we'll get a note on our WhatsApp chat or on our phone or whatever it is, saying that these are the salient features of the budget, and that is enough for us. What we would normally bother about budget, all of us, we do that. We are only looking at, has the income tax rates changed, has the excise duties changed, or the customs duties have changed. Other than that, we want to know how much the prices are going to increase or decrease or change for different commodities. We need to move away from looking at only these aspects and see where and how the budget is actually affecting us. There are a lot of direct and indirect impacts which we have on the budget, from the budget on our individual lives as individuals, not as organizations or as companies. And we need to look at that. And as I said, look beyond the prices and taxes to understand these impacts. And we also need to see, is these effects actually good or bad for us or for the country as a whole? Some of the direct impacts of the budget which I can talk about here, again, there are many, but these are the things that I think we need to focus on. If you look at the one of the things that happened was that there's a scheme that we have for rural employment guarantee scheme, the Manrega, as we talk about it. We have a reduced outlay for the whole thing in this year. Now, how is that going to impact individually to us? First thing that we would see is in the rural areas, the job creations would be lesser. And the impact of that is going to be that maybe there's going to be more inflow of laborers or workforce from the rural areas to the urban areas. Maybe sitting where we are, we may feel good that yes, maybe the labor cost would come down. But there will be an inflow of people or influx of people from the villages to the urban areas, which can have its other impacts. We need to look at that. There's an increase in outlay on roads and bridges, which frankly speaking, it's a very good thing. Yes, our infrastructure improves, our travel times reduce, and all those things happen, which is a good thing to happen. And if you look at education, again, there is an increased outlay on digitization. We are talking in terms of a lot of content being created, 200 channels dedicated to education coming up. We're talking about the gift cities allowing international universities to come and set up their space, which again means more competition. So as an institution, we need to see, is that something that is going to be helpful for us or is going to be detrimental to us? So it can have both sides or both effects. Look at something like civil aviation. Civil aviation has actually seen a very big fall in the outlay. But the reason for that is very clear, that Indian government doesn't own Air India anymore, which was basically an organization which was taking away a lot of the resources of the government. That gets saved. Maybe that gets used somewhere else, and maybe we get better facilities for traveling. Then, of course, we talked about the medical and public health expenses. As I said, emphasis on mental health. That is a very important factor which we need to focus on. The one more factor that I did find was that the emphasis on housing has actually come down, and which is not bad, because we are reaching a point where the housing for all scheme is almost reaching the culmination. We are reaching a point where more and more people actually own a house in one place or the other, or one part of the country or the other, which is exactly what it wanted to do. So maybe, yes, the future, maybe in the next 1 or 2 years, we may see that housing is not an important aspect for the government to bother about. Maybe we can have more things to be taken care of, which will be a very good thing to do. And then, of course, if you look at agriculture, we have some orientation change from, talking in terms of, technology becoming part of agriculture. We talked about agriculture moving from a, labor-oriented one to a mechanized agriculture. And today we are talking about using drones for agriculture, which is exactly the way we have to move forward. And we need to see whether that is really going to help the agriculture to not only use the technology, but also to ensure that this technology is able to give them much better returns than what it was doing so far. Then we have a lot of indirect impacts of this budget, which normally we tend to ignore. But yeah, we should follow that. We should look at that and see where it has an impact. I would just look at 3 aspects of it. One is the environment part of it, second is the technology, and then I'll also look at a bit on the agriculture part of it. If you look at the environment part of it, what has happened is the government is stretching it a lot on green energy, which is a very good thing. Yes, because over a period of time, we are going to find that our cities would become a much better place to live. We know what happens when we have this pollution issues happening in Delhi. So with green energy, definitely it will have an impact. But again, it's a long-term impact. In the short run, we will find that the cost of commodities will go up because of the green energy, because of the gestation period involved in utilizing the green energy. If you also look, there was a separate issue that happened where the environment impact assessment has sort of been put at a back burner to some extent for the projects, which will mean that we may not be able to actually work out the actual impact of the environment on the environment of different projects, and maybe the compensations may not be in the right manner, the way it should actually have been. Then, of course, we are also talking about road networks. And when we talk about road networks, what's happening is the government says we are going to have 25,000 kilometers of new national highways. Now, the first thing would be, where in India are we talking about these highways? If you look at all the highways, if you look at the highway network of the country, almost every part of the country is already covered. And what is not covered is basically the green areas or the forest areas. Do we really require to have highways created through them or not? That we have to see. Yes, there are some places where we do require networks, but 25,000 kilometers, I don't know whether that will be the best option. And then, of course, we also look at which areas get these networks. Do they have multiple networks already, or do we require to? Are we multiplying the resources? That's the way we have to look at it. In terms of technology, if I look at, One is that, yes, we are talking about a focus on the digital education. It's a very good thing. Yes, definitely we know that it helps a lot. But then digital education has one big problem in the sense that the conventional education, it loses its focus. Are we actually ready for that? People who are in the college system right now, the education system right now, they all feel that pressure, that the advantage that we get of actually having a physical classroom, it's not just a question of coming to a college and sitting and reading together. It's also the question of interacting with people, having a very good understanding of other people's cultures and getting to know them. That is much more important. How to work with people, how to stay with people, how to interact with people. I think that somewhere gets lost, which I think we need to somewhere curb. And of course, the biggest problem that we do have in India, the digital divide. If we stress too much on the digital education, the digital divide is only going to widen. We know that facilities are not so good in all parts of the country. So, and then again, the second issue, the language barriers and everything. We need to tackle that. So are we really doing that or not? That also we need to see. Talking about the agricultural sector, as I was talking about, yes, the Kisan drones, I think it's a very, very good initiative. And I'm very sure that the facilities that the government can provide in this regard is definitely going to help the agricultural sector to improve a lot in terms of getting better benefits, getting better rewards, and also ensuring that their crops are taken care of in a much better way. We are talking about startups for agriculture and rural enterprise. Again, a very good initiative, because the startups, as we talk about, are going to help the agriculture to improve their productivity. But then again, the issue would be, are we talking about corporatization of agriculture, which I don't know how I would like to look into. One more aspect of it that we need to look at is the agricultural research. If you look at the pattern that we have followed over the last few years, the agricultural research is what I think we need to stress more on. Especially, we are still talking about our previous years of talking about the agricultural revolution and the new varieties of seeds that we found to increase our yield. Maybe we need to stress a bit more on that and ensure that with more urbanization, with lesser amount of land available for agriculture, how can we increase productivity much more? And of course, when I'm talking about agricultural research, I should also include in this the conservation of our existing crops. We know that we have a lot of loss of the food grains because of our lack of storage facilities. How we can improve that? That also needs to be done. And one more aspect of the budget that, frankly, I think it is really required was the river linking. We have talked about the one river linking project, which basically connecting the Chambal and Betwa river, and this is actually going to help that particular region quite a lot. Other links are also in the pipeline. So maybe yes, irrigation would improve because of that, but again at the same time, the environmental impact of that we need to see. May be good, may not be good. We need to really see that. And if I now look at where did we falter in this budget, what was missing in the budget, I think the one big mistake or one big problem we had was there was no focus on consumption. We are still talking about production. We are still talking about giving incentives to industries to produce more. But where is the consumption happening? Is the individual or the common man being given the facility to consume so much? We still are not so much bothered about it. There has to be what is called as a demand side push. We could have reduced maybe some excise duty here and there or a customs duty here and there. Maybe yes, it comes under the GST forum, but still we could have done that to push demand on certain industry, which we have not done. And then of course the SME, the small and medium enterprises and unorganized sector should have been given more benefits, which was missing. And then yes, if you look at the whole of the last 2 years during the pandemic, some sectors really suffered a lot. I mean, be it the education, be it the tourism industry, they all suffered a lot. I think something should have been specifically done for these sectors so that the losses that they incurred over the last 2 years, they could have been taken care of. And one last aspect which I think we again missed on was, it's not that we don't have the capacity to produce. We already have the capacity to produce, but we need to increase our existing capital utilization. Most of the industries today are running at, say, about 50 to 60% capacity. We need to see how we can increase the capital utilization. Again, it may come back to consumption, that if you have more consumption possibilities, the capital utilization will be much better. So maybe we could have done that and improved the way the industries are actually producing. One part of this whole thing that I found, as a weak link, if I may put it, in the whole budget was, the whole budget was revolving around the private sector playing its role in meeting the budget targets. It looks all right because we are talking about capital expansion and all those things. But what we have to always understand is, as an economy, India is not a very great risk-taking economy. We tend to wait and watch till something happens before we invest. So when all these capital expansion projects are being implemented and we are expecting the private sector to play a role, it will not happen so fast. It will take some time to happen. In economics, what we call as a trickle-down effect of all these investments will take some time to happen, and it may take more than 1 year to happen. And the problem that will happen is, if it is going to take more than one financial year, this particular budget would have expired by that time, would have a new budget. So we don't know how we are able to link this budget with the next budget and ensure that the continuity is there. Finally, if I have to look in terms of what I would actually expect from the budget, not this, but in the future also, is we need to have the citizen as the focus of every budget, not the industries, not the government. It's the citizen who should be the focus of the budget. It should not be talking only about industries, and we should be able to say in every budget, whatever recommendations we are doing, whatever expenditures we are doing, how is it going to affect different individual segments? If we are saying we are creating a national highway, you should say where it is going to affect. If we are spreading more on agriculture, we should say who and why is going to get affected by it or impacted by it or benefited by it. That is something that we should have a budget. It should be more, as I said, focused on the citizen and not on the government or the industry. That's all I would like to say. Thanks a lot for that. Do we have any questions on this?
Okay, Mangeshji. So you can switch on your camera.
Yeah, I'll do it.
So I thank you for giving your thought-provoking words and technicalities of the budget.
Yeah.
And now you have tried to highlight the budgetary allocation through citizens' perspective, where you have focused upon the basic requirement which a citizens needs, and you also tried to give stress on what a budget missed on. So thank you very much for elaborating both the aspects with the viewers. So it generated some questions in the minds of these young people. So I am putting the question which has come in the chat box.
Yeah, I was just seeing that.
So, sir, our digitization process and emphasis on it by government is going to benefit poor and farmer who are striving to generate income through production without knowing anything about digitization?
Yes, Ashish, I think it's a very good question that you have asked. And that's where I think we need to look at spreading the whole technology revolution to the agricultural sector. We know that, okay, poor farmers and the marginalized farmers cannot think of affording drones or getting the best of the technologies. So if we are able to have some sort of a community participation where maybe the government says, yes, in a particular area or a particular region, we are going to provide drones at this point of time to help you to decide your cropping pattern and everything. I think they can make use of it. And as it is, if it is a government facility, I would say yes, they should be able to go to these people and get expert advice on that, which they can use in their production things. They may not know so much about digitization, but they would definitely know how they can use the information that is being provided to them. So, like it's something like saying that, okay, fine, I don't know how to use a computer. I don't know how to put on a computer, but if you give me a computer, maybe and help me use it, I can ask the appropriate questions. So that would be the way maybe we can have the poor farmers getting better income. Maybe the productivity would increase. That's the way I would look at it.
Okay, thank you, Mangeshwaran ji. Second question is from Rupal. She is asking, sir, how would you look up the budgetary allocation from the perspective of employment and employability?
Yeah, Rupal, that is, I think, that the problem that we have today, that everybody, especially the youth of today, is talking about employment. Where are the employment available? I think what we need to understand is that we have to move away from thinking that, yes, the government is the one that is going to give us employment. We all need to be in a position where we can, develop our skills to an extent where maybe we find employment on our own in terms of maybe becoming an entrepreneur, or we are ready for employment in any sector of the economy where we want to get into. Being industry ready, if I may use that particular term. If you look at the fact that the emphasis that has been on capital expenditure, a lot of infrastructure industries are going to get these benefits and have investments getting into those sectors. So we have to look at employment in those sectors, those segments where the government is emphasizing on investment today. If it is a road building exercise, fine. Yes, I mean, I can also look at it in terms of how you are ready to look at the infrastructure industry, a road building industry. You can be a service provider. You can be maybe you are maybe just a commerce graduate. You could look at the accounting side or the financial side of it. Maybe even if you are an arts graduate, or if you are a good painter. If I just take it as an example, look at the new tunnel that the government of India has created under Pragati Maidan. They have used some good ways to sort of decorate that. So even that is actually employment generation. So employment generation doesn't happen only because you have to be part of that industry. You could be attached to the industry or that sector in any possible way. So you need to be industry ready. You have to make yourself industry ready, and that would be the key to it.
Okay, thank you. So a third question is from Hardik. Good morning, sir. What is your view on the path of fiscal consolidation government has taken? How to increase direct tax revenues over the medium term?
Yeah, Hardik, yes, that is again an issue that we need to look at. From the economist point of view, we always have this issue whether direct taxes are good or indirect taxes are good. We also know that a very small portion of the Indian population actually pays a direct tax, because the income tax data will tell you that a very fraction of our society is actually paying taxes. Now, one way the government, what they have done is they have not changed the tax rates or anything of that kind. The second thing that should happen, rather, not I would say would happen, and that should happen is more and more people should get a larger amount of income in their pockets. So if, let us say that if you are a person who was earning, say, 2 lakh rupees in the last year, if your income increases to say 3 lakh rupees this year, automatically the government has been able to increase its direct tax revenue because you have become one more person who will be paying taxes. So if you are able to put income in the pockets of people more and more and more, that many more people would be actually becoming part of the direct tax collection source. And that is where I think we need to do it. I won't say it will happen in the short term or medium term or long term. It has to happen because in the long term or even in the medium term for that matter, we would expect this 2 lakh or 2.5 lakh threshold of paying tax to go to 3 lakh. So maybe even though your income increases, you may still not be in the tax bracket. So we need to increase the taxes, the income in such a large way that it outpaces the benefits of tax reductions so that more and more people have income to show and to pay taxes. That's the way would be the best way to look at it.
Thank you, Mangeshwaran ji. It would be the second last question, and I will call Dr. Balkrishan Negi, who is keenly observing and reading and writing about it, and is faculty at our college in Department of Economics. So now I call upon him to ask his question. Balkrishan.
Thank you, sir, for inviting me. In fact, I am in the college.
Yeah.
So just I want to ask, sir, that, if this year's budget is more, the attraction is towards the CapEx. So I think what your observation that, the CapEx means, if you see in case of last year, CapEx was also high.
Yes.
But the point is that, how this is going to be implemented within a 1 year of, the fiscal, the year, that it's really going to be, increase the employment, generate the employment or the growth. If you see in case of last years, that this is the continuity, you can say that way. So what is your observation, that implementation, that I can say that the implementation, which is matters a lot to generate employment, even the growth, that we have many problems related to the implementation. So in that sense, what is your observation? It is going to be effective for the economy as a whole in terms of generating growth and employment, because this year's most attraction is that only the CapEx, which was much emphasized by even the finance minister in the parliament.
Yeah, Dr. Mangeshwaran, I think I agree with what you said. In fact, that's what even I was saying. The weak link that we have in this whole budget was we are putting all our eggs in that one single basket of the corporate sector, delivering the goods. So when we are talking about capital expenditure and everything, we are also expecting that, yes, the corporate sector will come forward, take up the bait and do all these, or take up all these investments, which could be the key to it. And yes, capital expenditure per se would mean that it's going to stretch to beyond the lifespan of this particular budget. Like the last budget, this budget also would cease to exist, but the expenditures would continue to go until the next years to come. So we need to, when it comes to employment part of it, definitely the capital expenditure that is happening today would see its impact not only now, but in the next few years to come. So we have to, sort of, I would say, develop ourselves to be ready for that infrastructure that we have actually built up, or which we are building. So both ways we need to look at it, being ready today and being ready in the years to come to be employable for this capital expenditure to be fruitful.
Okay, thank you, Mangeshwaran. And this is the last question from Anusha. So, good afternoon, sir. Do you think are we slowly moving from welfare socialist oriented economy to capitalist economy by reducing dependence on employment in government sector and concentrating more on manufacturing sector?
Yes, Anusha, it's again a very interesting question, because, you know, whichever way I answer it, there will be a political repercussion to it. So I don't want to get into the political debate here. But yes, the fact of the matter is that over a period of time, the role of the government in day-to-day life of people must come down. The whole concept of a welfare state or a socialist-oriented economy, we know that it has its benefits, but it has a definite time span. Beyond a particular time, these measures, the welfare measures or the socialist-oriented economies that we have, will not be able to deliver the goods. So if you look at the period that we started from 1950 to maybe about 1990, it was a welfare state. We had more people who had to be given the benefits. So the welfare state was a very good concept to have. But if you look at the last 20, 30, 40 years, we have moved away to a position where more and more people are actually much better off. Not just talking in terms of the number of people below the poverty line and everything. Overall, if you look at it, there is a general increase in the wellness of the people that we have to accept it. So when that happens, there's a much smaller number of people who require these benefits. So when there are lesser number of people requiring the benefits, why not move away from a welfare state to a manufacturing oriented economy where people get the best products also, and at the same time they have more choices to go for also. So we have done that in the last 2 or 3 decades. We have moved away from a subsidized economy to a more of a market oriented economy, but it has its benefits. There are people who have not been able to get the benefits of it. For those people, yes, the welfare state must remain even now. But beyond that, there are people who have come out of that poverty line, who have come out of those problems. They should get the benefits of it. Why not?
So that comes to an end, and I'm thankful to you,
Thank you,
Mangeshwaran ji, that you readily accepted. And I want to go into the background that recently we had Alumni Association Managing Committee meeting.
Mhm.
And in that meeting, and the proposal came that we should give opportunity to our alumnus also, so that they can come out with their expertise. And I'm also thankful to our principal sir, Professor Gyantosh Kumar Jha, who readily accepted the proposal of the Alumni Association. So what we planned, we executed within 10 to 15 days. If I am not wrong, Aurora sir. So within 10-15 days, result is there, and many more such proposals are in pipeline. And I would request and appeal to the alumni and of our college to contribute in whatever they can, so that our institution should grow with more such kind of initiative which can be imbibed by others also, but we have to keep growing our institution. So, and I'm also thankful to the President Alumni Association, J.S. Arya sir, Colonel Tokash, Ravi Tokash, who is the Vice President, Rajnikant, who is the General Secretary, and Dr. V.K. Arora, who is supposed to be the Treasurer of Alumni Association, then all the colleagues who joined in today's this discussion on budget. Then there are other alumni I could see, Ravinder sir, and then Arvind and other alumni who also had joined. So I am thankful to all of them. And I am also thankful to the present students, current students who also joined and without taking up the figures, they have listened to you very patiently and asked some genuine question to you. So I'm also thankful to these students. And I'm also thankful to Dr. Monica Jain, who conducted it initially, and IQAC, the member IQAC, who collaborated with the Alumni Association, and the technical team led by Ravindra, Amit Vishwakarma, and Mandvendra, who made it so planned, and it's live on Facebook. And so I'm thankful to the technical team also. And if I'm missing someone, so kindly forgive me, but I'm thankful and to you, S. Mangeshwaran ji, who accepted in a very short span of time and elaborated very well. So thank you very much, and that's the day. So good day, and thank you very much. Amit ji.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. End kar do?
Yes.